at the beginning, I had this idea that you should let the beginners teach the beginner classes, have the new teachers teach the beginner classes because they probably don't have a very developed asana practice themselves, so they'll be right at home with these beginners, and let the more advanced people teach the more advanced classes because they will be able to demonstrate those more difficult postures. That doesn't work. That doesn't work at all. Beginners classes are the hardest classes to teach and require the most expertise and the most development and communication skills and knowledge. So your ability to turn somebody onto yoga who hasn't done it and who is new to it is key to your ability to teach yoga in general, and also, let's face it, to your ability to survive as a yoga teacher. And while we're on that subject of beginners classes, let's look at the subject of how could we make yoga our full-time gig, and how can we transition into teaching full-time versus just teaching a class or two, and what is it that creates that shift. Not everybody can do it. Okay, and and I've wondered so many times if I could do it. And I remember the days when I used to do construction all day long, and then I would go teach yoga in the evening. And I would sit there and light the candle in front of the altar and think, oh my God, if someday I could just do this instead of all that construction, I would just be so grateful. And it took about 15 years to create that. It didn't just, Lord Shiva didn't just come down and bless me. And you know, maybe other people would. And maybe that's just, you know, it's also your karma and your approach and your personality. And there are people who just have this great, energetic, fun personality, and they're good with social media, and they can do it. But then it's also a question of how long will you maintain that? And that jazz, that yeah, let's do it. Come on, yoga, 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 yoga is so fun and it's so cool and it's so, and what if your life starts falling apart a little bit and maybe you're just not really on your game, and can you still maintain that kind of buoyancy and bubbly, exuberant energy? Because that's what people like. But in general, yoga is kind of about getting your butt kicked, and teaching yoga is also about that. And it all kind of has a way of shifting around, and the people in your classes are oftentimes very, very intelligent and can see very clearly where you're at as a human being. And there has to be some bubbly, good vibe, for sure. But if there isn't like genuine dedication and serious intent, it doesn't last. And you may have many people for a little while, but your class can evaporate in a matter of days, and you can, like, I've just seen it go up and down so many times, and for reasons that I don't necessarily have any clear ideas why. My personal classes have shrunk and expanded so many ways, so many times. But I'll give you some ideas, okay? Your personal practice and what you're doing and why you're doing what you're doing. And nothing is as much of a vibe killer as being broke and worried about money and standing there in your yoga class going, oh crap, there's only 3 people and it's just you guys. And how am I going to pay for my bills now? And and so in the back of your mind, you're all freaked out about income and money and surviving. And that's coloring the vibe of your yoga class that you're teaching. It's not fun, and it's not attractive, and it does not create students and expand your ability to teach. Everybody has to make it. And my advice is start teaching casually and find a situation where you can do it as a learning, growing experience, and come from a place of service in your teaching, so that you're not attached to the outcome. You're simply trying to do the best you can, and you can be attached to doing your personal best with your teaching. But when you're attached to numbers and finances and stuff, that's very tricky. And one of the worst ideas ever is to take a 200-hour training and then think that you're going to charge out into the world as a high-powered yoga professional and go ahead and rent a building and start a advertising franchise and sink, I've seen people really sink huge amounts of money into this idea that they're going to run a yoga business, and they hire advertising and they build a website, and they, and if you can't do all that yourself, and you had to hire like photographers and website builders and advertisers, and you had to rent a building, and then you need it built out, so you hire carpenters and construction guys to go in and do all of that, and you can be a few $100,000 in debt before you even have a student walk through the door. That is a bad place to be. You're much better off to just get on your computer and make a Word doc and make a little flyer about your class and go rent a space down at the YMCA, and you're risking like $15 a time, and you're not too stressed out about it, and lo and behold, it might just grow, and you might meet some people that you really enjoy, and you might just make some lifelong friends and build into the thing in an organic way. And that's usually how it happens. Becoming a yoga teacher is as simple as practicing yoga long enough that somebody says, "Hey, I want to try. What are you up to? It looks fun. Can I do it with you?" And then you find yourself saying, "Yeah, inhale and raise your arms, and do it like this," and it all kind of starts organically from there. So this training is really just about giving you the fundamental tools and perspective and background to start that journey, or to continue that journey, and to give you more information. And first and foremost, it's to improve and deepen your own personal practice. Now, what makes your practice potent is your dedication to it. And whether it's just about practicing exercises, or whether it is something that encompasses your whole life and your behavior and your speech and your actions and how you live.